Hello everyone, and welcome to the Introduction to the Mock Interview section of this course. In this lecture, we're just going to be going over some general non-technical questions, resources for you, and also the structure of the mock interview section of the course. So in this section of the introduction, you're going to have a list of general non-technical questions you may be asked, such as questions during a phone screen with a recruiter, so you can get that in the next lecture. And then you also get a list of questions that you should ask after the interview. So make sure you actually review those questions. Non-technical questions, we won't really discuss those in a mock interview. We're going to focus more on actual technical questions. Make sure you can answer several non-technical questions for the company that you're applying to. As far as the mock interviews themselves, you'll usually see two folders in your NB in the packet or on nbviewer.org. It's going to consist of interview problems and then another folder called interview problem solutions. So pay careful attention to the requirements. Sometimes they ask you to just use a pen and paper, and also note the simple format. You're not going to have a cell to test your solution. You're basically just going to be asked a question and be asked to make reasonable assumptions for your answer or your solution. So again, those mock interview questions are just going to be simple, usually just a few lines of a question, and that's it. Moving on. What you should really do is record yourself talking or explaining out loud. A lot of the mock interview section questions are going to ask as a requirement that you don't code out your solution, that you actually write it on paper and pencil or on a whiteboard. So practice with a friend or family member, give them the solutions, and you can have the interview problem yourself. It really helps for you to record yourself or practice with a friend so you can see how well you do and get the real life situation of talking to someone in a room and explaining your thought process. Again, make sure you have a paper and pen or paper and pencil or some sort of whiteboard, because a lot of the mock interview questions aren't going to be coded out. You'll have to do them by hand. Once you've attempted all the problems for a specific company's mock interview, then take a look at the solutions. So don't go one at a time. Do all the phone screen and on-site questions first, and then attempt the solutions. Again, the problems are going to feel much harder than the previous exercises and interview problems we've done previously in this course. And that's because they're not going to be attached to a certain section, so you'll have to think of what strategy works best. Practice the interview problems you missed again after reading the solution. So after you go through a mock interview, all the phone screen and on-site questions, and then check your solutions, for the ones you missed, make sure you practice that interview problem again, and hopefully recording yourself or doing it with a family member or a friend. So with that being said, best of luck. Let's go ahead and get started. In the next two lectures, you'll see that list of questions you should be able to answer, and after that, we'll get started with the mock interviews. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you at the next lecture.